Hello, ladies and gentlemen. And today we have a king representing the state of Washington. His name is John Graham, or Coach. He grew up in Montana, moved to Spokane to play college basketball. After graduating from a college, John was a college instructor and coached basketball at the collegiate level before pursuing his passion for business and sales. For the past 20 plus years, John has been an industry leader in sales and management in the Spokane community. He uses his sales, management, and coaching background to lead his team as he continues to be a top selling real estate group in the region. You can get in touch with John at 509 213 0519 or John at the Legacy Group Real Estate.com. And John, you there? Be coming on. John, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. I'm sorry. I just got out of a meeting there, so I was hustling. I had my assistant get you dialed in here. Can you see me okay?
All good. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Hope you're having your best day ever.
I am, of course.
Good to hear, man. Good to hear. Yeah, John, what made you want to get into real estate after being a professor and coaching at the collegiate level?
Well, for me, I'm driven. Are you familiar with the DISC profile and what makes up our behavioral styles? Are you familiar with that at all?
Nah, I'm not. Please enlighten me.
Okay. So, and I didn't know this either at the time, but basically, we all have different styles. We've got people DISC, DISC. It's Tony Robbins, if you know Tony Robbins. So basically, D's of the world. Those are drivers, aggressive, assertive, front of the pack, kicking butt, taking names. Turns out I'm a D. So I like to be in front of the pack, kicking down doors, taking names. The I's of the world, DI. I is influence. Those are those touchy-feely people that, you can't get out of the bar because they're always talking to you and they carry on the conversations. They love relationships, right? Those are the I's. S's, they're behind the scenes, stable, systematic. And then the C's of the world, those are the really detail-oriented, organized, behind the scenes, analytical, CPA, smart kids, right? And so getting out of coaching and stuff, basically what I learned is that I'm a D. I like to win. So sales right away, business, running teams type of stuff. So that coaching and, it just kind of fell into it, as far as me getting out of that. It was just some opportunistic things from people that I knew. So.
That makes total sense. I'm a big fan of what you have in the background about a good coach can change a game and a great coach can change a life.
Yeah.
You live and preach what you stand for. I like that.
Yeah.
What do you think was your turning point in your career, though, your journey in real estate, where your eyes really lit up and you're like, wow, I'm about to take market share?
I think probably when I got into real estate, because before I got into real estate, I was in the corporate world. So I went from teaching and coaching in college as a young guy. I was 24 years old, just got done playing college basketball and just was kind of flowing into coaching and teaching. That was kind of what sports people do, jocks do, right? And a buddy of mine who was in sales said that's where it's at. And so I got in the corporate world. So I was there for 13, 14 years, just corporate sales and management and all that. But I kind of had a ceiling on me because I was never going to own the company. Like that was kind of my deal. So my turning point probably is when I actually decided that I was going to do real estate, because that gave me where I was at in the corporate world. I was never going to drive the car. I was always going to be a passenger in the car with some dude that owned the company. Right. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just like to drive. So turning point was me taking the plunge, getting in there.
That makes total sense, John. You're working to live your dreams, not somebody else's. Which I can see, I can feel. And in 2025, what do you think is like the most misunderstood thing about the industry you believe in terms for the consumer, the borrower?
So for the consumer and borrowers, the most misunderstood is probably that there's a difference between agents. I think a lot of times the consumer thinks that all agents are the same. And I see that a lot where we sit with the number of people that we're able to help, from the consumer side of things. Initially, a lot of people think there's no difference between my agents or us and every other agent in the world out there. So I think that's probably the biggest misconception. Like now more than ever, skills matter. And it's like anything that you do in the world in your job. There's people that maybe could, maybe be as good as you, and some people that maybe aren't even as close to as good as you, right? And I think that's probably the biggest misconception is not all agents are the same, not even close.
No, you're totally right. And how do you recommend like a consumer assessing agents? Because these agents have like an intangible skill set. So like an intangible skill set, you really can't measure it. It's either like you kind of like I don't know. It's kind of like either you have it or you don't. So how would you recommend a consumer like seeing if someone actually has an intangible skill set or not?
Well, one, if you're a consumer, obviously be educated and have something that you're bringing to whatever that first conversation is, so you can ask questions, probing questions. I think that's a big thing from an agent standpoint. If you're having those initial information gathering conversations, we call them consultations, when we sit down, or maybe an exploratory phone call. When we sit down, I'm always coaching my agents on, start delivering with value. Don't try to sell, right? Start with value. And everybody that we're in a conversation with has something that they need or that they want help with, and it might be a real estate call. Maybe they Googled best real estate agent Spokane and somehow it comes into our pipeline. It doesn't have to be about real estate. It could be, probably the bigger thing is they're probably in a situation where they need help. Like, do I sell? Do I move? If I move, how do I do that? And whatever that is, asking questions as to what's important to them and what they would like to accomplish, and then be able to be a solution for them. That's how you separate yourself from trying to close a deal, I think. And that's kind of how we explore things.
Nah, you're onto something, because if you can discover why they are where they are at their current state and know where they want to go, you can just be the shepherd and just guide them.
Yeah.
Do you think there's any other misconception about real estate at the current moment in 2025?
Sure, I can go on for days. I would say probably that they get paid too much. Like right now with all the lawsuits going on, and I'm sure you're familiar with the lawsuits that are going, real estate agents, some of them make good money, some of them don't make any money. But I think what people maybe don't realize is the amount of time and effort that real estate agents put in, and the expertise that it takes to get transactions across the finish line, particularly in more complex real estate transactions. I had heard an analogy a long time ago that I'll share with you if you're cool with it. It kind of it makes sense. So the premise is there's this crew out on this big fishing boat out in the Bering Sea. Think, oh, you got to make your money on that. You only got a short season. So if you break down, you're over. So they're out there, they're grinding, they're going, and they've got to make this money, and all of a sudden their engine quits and they're just sitting in the seas, not moving. So the captain gets on the phone and says, I need a guy here right away. And they get to the shore and they find a guy. And the mechanic, and they helicopter him, in, and he gets on the deck and he walks off and he goes down into the engine, and they're like, oh my God, we get this done, or we're going to go bankrupt and all this. And this guy walks down, he's real patient, goes down and looks at the engine and kind of feels around, looks, puts his ear up to it, it takes him about 10, 15 minutes just to look at it. He doesn't do anything. He reaches into his bag and he picks out this little ball peen hammer and he looks, pink. And all of a sudden the motor comes on and everybody's like, oh my God, that is unbelievable. You were able to do that. And he's a hero and everybody's celebrating. He flies off, gets off the deal, and it's glorious. And of course, 2 weeks later, the captain gets the bill. And the bill's for $30,000. And the captain is like, oh, this is crazy. How could you charge me that much? You only came in. It took you 10 minutes looking at the engine, and you just hit it one time with the ball peen hammer. And the guy's just really calm, the mechanic. And he goes, well, sir, you're not paying for the 10 to 15 minutes of what I did. What you're paying for is my 35 years of experience and knowledge to know where to hit that ball peen hammer so you could get your engine running again.
No, yeah,
so that's a long story to get to a point of really that's what it is. It's about knowledge. It's about expertise. And that is not gained, on one transaction that someone may see. That's an experience, a lifetime of learning and failing and growing. And that's what I think people maybe don't realize. They think it's, just easy type of deal. So just my thoughts.
No, you're totally right. So, you don't see the 10,000 hours someone put into honing their craft. Yeah. You only see what's present day. So yeah, you're totally right on that. And if you could change one thing about the industry, what would it be and why?
I think one of the things that probably sits in a lot of real estate agents' craw is, as we know how hard it is to create opportunities for ourselves, or if we have teams or companies like I do, to create opportunities to buy or sell or invest in real estate. And I think that there's some things out there that go on that just kind of take advantage of our hard work and our efforts, and it gets spun. So what am I saying? Zillow, Realtor.com, a lot of these big outfits, they take our listings that we've gone out, and it seems simple, but for me to create a listing opportunity for my team, I spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions a year to generate that phone to ring or that online internet lead to come in. And I'm on radio, we're on TV, I've got inside sales agents, we've got all this money we're investing to create this one opportunity to come in so that we have the opportunity to help someone sell their home. And then I've got to pay a staff, a marketing company, a listing coordinator, inside sales. Then I've got to make sure that my agents have their commissions are getting paid. All that marketing that we do to help someone sell their home. And then Zillow is able to come in and take that listing that's taken me tens of thousands of dollars that I haven't made a penny on, and put it online, and then sell a lead back to me or sell a lead to hundreds of other agents out there. If I could change one thing, I would say, that effort should be fruits of our labor, and that, other people should go get their own listings, and then they can market it all they want. Or we would at least have a choice, because right now we don't have a choice to say whether Zillow does or does not get a chance, or Realtor.com or any of these other companies, to market our listing and sell leads back to us. So seems like a racket to me.
They are monopolizing that data. I feel like the consumer doesn't realize that at all. They just put in their information thinking like that the consumer has no idea. They're oblivious to this. But you're totally right. They are selling it on the back end. Like lenders have to go through it too when they do credit reports, like trigger leads. That's like it's terrible. So I do agree with you that should change. And are you implementing AI yet into your system and structure, or is that something you're still pondering?
Yeah, it's evolving. For us, we've had, the way our system works, the way we funnel all of our clients, our leads, our potential clients, potential leads is into a CRM, and that CRM does have AI. So, we've had chatbots for a while, and now AI has evolved. So now it's able to write emails for us. It's able to predict what we should, or at least give us an idea of what we could or could not say based on the response that someone's had. So we can just literally hit okay, because it'll give us a suggestion. So there's AI in that. I'm suspecting it's going to be a lot more coming down the pipeline for sure.
No, it makes total sense. Yes. However you can optimize and create efficiency. You seem like a ton that like maximizes like your work day or your 24 hours.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't have to answer this, John, but how do you handle criticism or negative feedback if it's ever occurred to you?
Yeah, no, good question. I used to look at it as criticism or negative feedback. Now there's two ways that I look at it. One is coaching. So if someone who's whether they've done it, typically someone will have done it at a high level, they'll have an opinion. So it could be coaching. Like when I talk to my team, they'll say, "Hey, tell me the truth. I can handle criticism. I can handle constructive criticism." And I kind of change the narrative. I say it's coaching, right? It's not, it's coaching. It's being able to help you get from one spot of your life and the way you go about doing things to, maybe to another, give you another idea of how it can be done more successfully. So I look at it, one is coaching. And then two, I look at it, and this has evolved over time. I didn't used to think this way, but as I've gotten older and just learned along the way, I'm like AI. I'm an AI, like I learn, I keep learning. And, I take a look at things, and I literally now, everything that happens, I look at in a mindset of, okay, if it didn't work the way I wanted, it's not a loss. So if someone says, "Hey, John," they criticize me, or they give feedback as to what I did or did not do in their opinion, whether I agree or don't agree, I'm looking at it as how to learn. And so every setback, everything that doesn't go well, I don't look at it as losing or criticism, or I look at it as an opportunity. Now I know that I did this, and I could do this. Even if I don't agree with what someone may be saying, I'm going to listen to it, because chances are I'm going to learn something from it. So I look at everything like that. If someone's honest with me and hurts, it's not what I want to hear, I look at it as an opportunity to learn. Really do.
No, you're totally right. You're always optimistic. Someone told me like an acronym for FAIL, for all information learned. So like every fail is just a learning lesson for the next one. And what's the story? Well, can you share a memorable story or failure, like a success or failure that really sticks with us, that sticks with you?
Success or failure that really sticks with us. I would say one of the things that really worked out well for us was back when I first started in real estate. We had a problem, and it was, I had agents, and we would spend all this marketing that I talked about. We'd create opportunities for the agents, and these leads would come in. Well, what happens is agents would get busy, and so those leads would just sit there, and maybe they wouldn't get followed up on, like they should. Data tells us an online lead has to be called, within 5 minutes, to have a 900% better chance of doing business with them. You got to call it 7 to 12 times to get a hold of them initially, blah, blah, blah. All those things that we know. Well, my agents, they're only going to do what they're going to do. And I was like, God, if I just had someone that would be in the office and do what I told them to do, and would call those leads and do, 7 to 12 times, and reach out and put them on our drip campaigns and all that jazz. So fast forward, before inside sales agents and real estate were a thing, this is probably 13, 14 years ago. I paid someone. I said, I'm just going to pay somebody to come in here, and when those leads come in, they just call it right away. And I didn't, at that time, I didn't know what an inside sales agent was in real estate, or what a And nowadays you call it inside sales or a telemarketer, maybe not even telemarketer, just someone that is there, that's on the payroll, that's going to call the lead quickly and is going to call it often.
An appointment setter.
Yeah, appointment setter. And so that was probably one of the biggest things that really wasn't a norm in the industry, that we started years and years ago. So we've had inside sales team ever since then. So that was probably a big game changer.
I'm sure you saw significant results from implementing that, correct?
Yeah.
No, I'm sure you did. And after seeing so much success, John, like, what inspires and influences you like in 2025, like an individual like yourself?
Yeah, it's probably no different than it was back in the day. People like me. There's two things that one, I love to obviously win and be successful, just competitive stuff. Obviously playing college basketball, being an athlete, just being a high D personality. I like to win. I like to compete. I'm not scared, to go get things. But the byproduct, what I've learned is what I really like is helping people win, get better, improve their life, become richer, maybe just even be able to buy their first house. So I enjoy that. So I think that's probably something that really kind of motivates me. And so in 2025, that's it. I like trying to help people get to a different part of their life, improve their life.
It's super riveting, or super like an adrenaline rush when you see somebody just starting a new chapter, like in real time, like after signing those documents. Like it truly is, like it does create like endorphins. It creates some type of chemical in the body. So I know what you mean when you say that. And switching gears a little bit, if you could have dinner with one historical figure, who would it be and why?
Yeah, probably Jesus, I would say. Yeah, I would say Jesus. Yeah. Why? Because, man, I'm always trying to learn and I want to know the truth. Like one of the, there's so many stories about like what is true. Immaculate conception. Imagine if that was not true. Like there's so many people that say it is and some people that say it isn't. So I would just go straight to the horse's mouth, talk to him, find out for truth, man. I'm telling you. And I have so many philosophical debates all the time about that. So I would just sit down with him, man. Say, all right, give me the goods.
So if you study him, supposedly he only speaks in parables, and by him doing that, it makes you feel like internal tension. So like he makes you like somehow discover on your own, which I think is very clever. Like if you can do that in real life, then holy smokes, you are elite at sales. Yeah. But if someone were to join you today in 2025, a new agent comes to you, hey John, I want to work for you and your team. What's your advice for them maybe creating a deal or two in like 2 to 3 months? Because what we do today usually takes 3 months to actually see the fruit.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think there's no substitute. There's a couple things that move the levers. I kind of coach my team on. There's two things. One's effort and one's skills. So you're going to work harder, longer, and with less results to begin with. So have your mindset right. That's just how it is. You're going to come in, you're going to have to, craft your skills by practicing. And so you're going to have to practice every single day, right? So that's rehearsing whatever it is that you're going to say to someone. Don't practice on your client. So we call it scripting, right? There's certain things that you'll say to people, just like what you do. You'll have a set of questions that you ask all of your people that you're interviewing. It'll be similar, and based on that, so it's no different than what any of us do. So one, you're going to practice your skills. You're going to practice them every day. If you want to be successful, I can't make anybody do anything. So one, you're going to practice your skills. Two, you're going to put in the effort that it takes, which consistently is going to be every day lead generating, and depending on where you're at in your business. When you don't have business, it's going to probably be all day to start with.
No, you're right.
So if you want to close a deal in the next 90 days, obviously give them the timelines of how long it takes for something to find a person to buy or sell, get that under contract and then get it across the finish line. I mean, it sets a pace of urgency, because really, if you want to close it in 90 days, now is the time. If you want to close it in 90 days. So that's what I would coach them on, those things. And then obviously we would give them the tools and the systems and the training to be able to do that. But I think getting their mindset right out of the chute, this is what it's going to be like.
No, setting the proper expectations.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely deliver on that. And then what do you think is the biggest lesson you learned in your career so far? Like all the lessons, like what's the one lesson that really sticks with you?
Like most athletes, I guess, you always remember the losses, you know, back in the day, you know, the things that didn't work with us. I would say the biggest lesson I learned is how to talk to people, and I still don't have that down pat. My personality is one that's direct and to the point, and I'm like that.
Yeah, I had emotional rapport almost.
Yeah. You know, and that's what I've learned. I made a mistake, made several mistakes, but one that sticks in my mind often, you know, and I'm always thinking about this, is one of my agents came up to me, and they were a really good agent and they're a really good teammate, really enjoyed them. But I was so focused on, you know, just the systems I had in place, you know, and we have our structure of how we pay our splits out. Right. And I'm always steadfast on that line. And they asked me, hey, could I get a higher split on this, which is common in real estate. You know, the agents will come to all of us owners and people, we've experienced that. It's a common deal. What I didn't do well is I treated this person, I made them feel a little bit small, because the way I answered the question was rude. It was short. I was like, well, why would I change the split for you? And now that I look back on it, where I didn't get it at the time, is I made that person kind of feel small, devalued. They ended up eventually, not that day, but they ended up quitting because they felt like I didn't value them. And, you know, it always kind of stuck in my craw. I handled that very poorly. I should have been better. You know, I should have been more patient. I should have been more, come from curiosity as to the split, and been more, understanding about what was important to them. So that's a big one. That's stuck with me. It seems maybe insignificant, but it was a big deal.
No, it makes total sense. I think like, even if you talk to like a regular consumer, I forget. There's like some strategy where you have to ask like 3 or 5 whys, like why, and like after you hear like after you ask like 3 to 5, they actually tell you like the real truth, like the real truth. So yeah, I totally get that. Sometimes you just have to be like a little empathetic and actually drive a little deeper. And you being in charge of a team, like what's the most challenging aspect of that, you think?
Well, team dynamic. I mean, how many of us have worked in an office environment or in a company environment or whatever, where you have toxic environment? Not because people are bad people, but because we don't know how to behave together and work through adversity, you know? So I'd say, is creating a team dynamic that is productive, fun, engaging, supportive. And that is something that in my previous careers, you know, the companies I worked for, we didn't really have that. We didn't focus on that. Everybody just showed up and did their job, and you'd have people, you know, going this way and going this way. And we were on the same team, but we weren't a team. So I would say we focus a lot on our team dynamic. We really do. I have a team, you know, there's a few books that we read, and then we do book club, and we talk about these things, you know, these, you know, dysfunctions, as we call them, on our team, and how to stay away from those pitfalls. But it takes work. So that's our biggest thing, is we work on our team dynamic, and then the rest, selling houses, making money, that takes care of itself. We gotta have ourselves right first.
No, you're completely right. Do you ever do like company retreats like annually, or like team activities every 90 days or something like that by chance?
Yeah, we do a few of those. Yeah. So every year we'll do, you know, I have a big company, we call it a legacy bash. So we do that up at my lake cabin. You know, I got a decent little place there. So we go up there and, you know, hang out, stay the night, splash around on the water and boat, ski, fun, just have a really good time. We'll do, that's just I don't want to say a party because we got to keep it, we got to be cool. We don't want to go too crazy, but it's fun. You get out, the kids come, everybody just has a good time, and it's not about work. So we have fun there, and then we'll do a couple a year of retreats where it'll be more of an all day. We'll bring in vendors. We'll do team bonding stuff. We'll do education learning for sure.
No, it does. I think the bonding goes a long way. I feel like they like, it really resonates with individuals when you show that you actually care. So not power to you. Keep that up, John. Keep that up. And now, where do you see yourself in these next 5 to 10 years, do you think?
Yeah, well, I mean, as things evolve, our goal is to keep growing. You're not growing, you're dying. So for us, we're going to be in growth mode. We got to continue to add agents. We got to continue to add locations. We got to continue to add resources for our team. So a lot of different veins on that. That's a whole nother podcast in itself, what we're doing there. But I would say, for us, we got to stay growth mode. We got to stay aggressive. We got to make sure that we're focused on growing.
You're never satisfied. You're always hustling.
Yeah.
You're only like, yeah, but it's I like the spirit though. You're truly, you're gonna manifest. I can tell. And do you do coaching at all, or is there like a book or podcast or article that you think has helped you shape your career?
Oh yeah, no, I've always had a coach. I've always had a coach. Well, not always. Since I've started in real estate, I started coaching. So I've been fortunate to have some really great individuals coach me. And so, yeah, I've always had coaches. And matter of fact, I just changed my coach to a new person. Just again, trying to make sure I'm always pushing myself and being willing to think outside the box, grow, learn. So yeah, I believe in coaching. I'm in a coach myself. I'm a coach, so I coach my team, and that's kind of who I am. But I believe in it. Yeah, no, I dig high level coaches for sure.
Nice. And do you read at all or listen to audiobooks, or is there like podcasts or articles that you think have played a role too?
Yeah, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I read a lot of books for sure. I'm always, and it's funny, but when I was younger, I really didn't. When I was a younger, high school student and stuff, I didn't think about learning, and I really didn't get into, I graduated from college, went to college, but that was more of a byproduct of being a basketball player. I kind of had to get an education, but I really wasn't like intentional about what I was learning and what I wanted to learn. So I do listen to a lot of books. I listen to a lot of podcasts. So I'm happy to share any of those with you if you want, but there's a plethora there.
I'm sure there is, John. I'm sure there is. I know you're in the corporate world, but like if you weren't in real estate, what else do you think you could have like led or done on your own aside from real estate?
Yeah, basketball coach, college basketball coach. That was kind of my jam. I would, I was, I would have been a college basketball coach for sure. I'd be probably getting ready to have my 700th career win right about now.
That's hilarious, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, you're very ambitious. Always with the big goals. And do you think there's one piece of advice you wish you would have received early in your career that could have like changed your whole trajectory or been a catalyst in your career?
What would I share? I would say, this seems a little simple. And I learned this along the way is, we all have 24 hours in the day. Mm-hmm. And yet it's amazing. Certain people get so much more done than others. And one of the things that I just never did, even in the corporate world, all the way up to my last day, I never had a schedule. I would have an appointment book when I would get an appointment would come in or something like that. But I never had a schedule. Like I have a schedule now that I look at. It's like freaking clockwork. I get up every morning at 5 a.m. I do my, mix my little drink that I drink that has my little energy stuff in it. And then and I just have a sequential, my mornings are boom, 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 get my workout in, do my stuff. I take a shower at the same time. And I'm very diligent and organized about my schedule. And and then I'll have room to add things to it. But I have from my teaching days, EDDs, everyday drills. So my mornings look really similar about every day, but I get more done probably before most people get out of bed. You know what I mean? Because I am on. I even have on my calendar the time that I'm doing my calendar for the next week so that I make sure I get it done. And so I would say one of the biggest things that I would give young people or people that are just getting, even people my age, like a calendar, and everybody talks about it, but a schedule and a calendar that you follow, that you're religious about, and I can get so much more done by just being on it. Boom, 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 boom. Instead of like, there was days where I would have nothing on my calendar and I feel like I did everything and I really got nothing done. So like this, today, my meetings are boom, boom, boom. You saw I came from one meeting into here. I had my assistant had this thing on and there, and she had to go remind me from the meeting there. And I walk in here and I sit down. I prepared this morning for this, listen to a couple of your podcasts, made sure I was prepared so I could sit down, have my answers, on top of mind. And all that was calendared and scheduled so that I go boom, boom, boom. So that's something that I think is really underrated and underutilized by people.
No, you're totally right. Yeah, it's almost like journaling, almost like what you're doing for the week. So like it truly you're systemizing your daily regimen, which is really nice, John. You truly leverage your 24 hours, I would say. I think I got 3 more questions for you.
Okay.
How would you explain to consumer, like, I don't know if you ever got on the rebuttal, I'm just going to wait till rates drop. Like, how do you explain to them, like, I'm not going to lie to you, John, that consumer's income, chances are their income's only going to raise like 2 or 3%. Like their job is only going to give them like a 2 or 3% raise. That home that they like is probably going to go up 5 or 6%. So that the fact that they want to keep waiting, like, how do you explain to them, like, this is actually the best time to buy and not to wait? Because if rates do drop, like the home price is going to rise and more buyers are going to jump into the pool for buying. So like, how do you overcome that rebuttal?
Well, you said a lot of good things there. You obviously know what you're talking about. I think for us, what I talk about, I always say now's the time. I have that's the name of my boat. Now's the time in our office above the door. Now is the time. So I think the trick is people, they get wrapped up into interest rates. They just do. So what you have to do is ask questions, ask the right questions. And the questions that I'll ask will get them to a point where they'll say a self-discovery moment. So I always say it's about helping them self-discover. So what you ask is questions, a set of questions. Okay, so Mr. Buyer, what's important about waiting for interest rates to go down? And they inevitably will say, well, I want to save money. I want to make sure that, and whether they're waiting for prices to come down on a house or they're waiting for interest rates to come down, they're going to say the same thing. I want to wait until they come down, or it's more affordable or whatever it is. Okay, well, what's important about that? And they'll say some answer, and it'll be something about like, well, I just want to make sure that I'm getting a good deal and that I can get into the house. And then I'll say, okay, and then what? Well, then we'll have a house and we'll move into it and blah, blah, blah. And then what? Well, I guess then we'll sell it. Bingo. Then I got it. Because then I say, okay, so then it's safe to say this is an investment for you. Is that correct? Well, yeah. Okay. Now we talk about, so they just they don't think, they're just looking at an interest rate, and exactly what we said. They don't look, interest rate 6%. They don't know that it's $150 difference. If you buy a house today and the interest rate in 1 year on a $400,000 house, you're going to make $20,000 in equity today, if you bought today and it just appreciates by 4 or 5%, which is like a no-brainer, you're going to make $20,000. If you wait for interest rates to drop a point, if it was a point, which is not going to happen, you're going to save a couple $100 a month. So the real question is, would you rather save a couple $100 a month on a payment or make 20 grand at the end of the year? And there's no one that can answer that question and go, well, I'd rather have 20 grand. Well, of course you would.
Of course.
That's why now is the time.
Dude,
right?
You are a maestro. You are elite because you literally and then so you're painting the picture on the canvas and then you're getting back to their why. You're really driving it home, I would say. So that was a perfect answer, John. I got 2 more questions for you. When I'm really old, I'm gonna rewatch this. Can you give me a life message, please?
Life message?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's not on your list, but I can wing it here. No, not wing it. Life message. I would say a lot of people out there think that, again, people that you're probably interviewing are going to be people that are, ambitious and go-getters, and I've listened to a few of your podcasts. Definitely have people that are out there that are go-getting. I would say one of the things that I've really tried to wrap my mind around is making sure that I'm taking the time to just slow down and spend time with the people that are important to me. Because I think most of us out there, and I'm sure the people that are on your podcast are going to be people that go hard. And so life lessons are, we always realize that we wish we would have spent more time, and I always say to my team, there's a couple types of pain. There's pain of breaking a leg, right? Or getting hurt, and that will heal. And there's the pain of someone passing away, and that too with time will heal. But the pain that is the worst that doesn't go away is the pain of regret. And that's something that I think if we look at in our life, that the pain of regret is far worse than the pain of the discipline of taking the time to spend with others. You'll regret the time that you didn't, but you won't regret the discipline of making sure you even wrote it in your calendar to go spend time with the people that you love.
No, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Truly means a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Truly means a lot. And my final question to you today is, what legacy do you hope to leave behind through your work when it's all said and done?
Yeah, legacy. Love that word. I think what I would love is to have helped as many people as I could create a life that is better for me being in it than had I not been in it. And I think if at the end of the day, when all the dust settles, if people out there are, in a better spot because somehow I was able to coach them or influence them in a positive way, then I think that'll be worth it.
1,000%. You're hoping communities build generational wealth, and you're hoping the team members the members on your team, you're hoping their trajectory with their personal development. So yeah, you're definitely an asset to society, I would say. And it was a pleasure speaking with you, John. Do you have anything else on your mind or in your heart that you would like to share?
I appreciate you reaching out to us. It looks like, as far as the things that you're doing, I dig it, man. I like, again, taking the time to listen to your podcast. You're working hard. You're trying to make the world a better place. No doubt about that. So, I appreciate that. I respect that. So keep on doing the good work, man.
No, thank you, John. It means a lot. Truly means a lot. Take that to heart. And ladies and gentlemen, you just heard from a king representing the state of Washington. Please reach out to John Graham if you're interested in buying, selling, learning about real estate. Yeah, he has a wealth of knowledge. Literally, it was showcased today. John, thank you so much. How do you like people reaching out to you?
Just hit us up. If you just Google Legacy Group Spokane, you'll find me. And you'll be able to get in there. So Legacy Group Spokane, it'll direct you to me. So
there it is.
right there.
Listen to them, ladies and gentlemen. John, can you stay on the call for like one more minute?
Sure.
Thank you.